Hi everybody, Ed Berger from the TackleDirect Pro Staff. I am a surf fisherman. I do a lot of offshore fishing too and a lot of inshore, but I literally, grew up on the beach and jumping around on the rocks since I was a little kid. And one of the things that I always worried about, of course, was, the rocks, they're slippery. So you never go out on the rocks or go out on the jetty without a pair of Korkers on. Now, these are my sandals, it's a regular pair of Korker sandals. The carbide tip spikes on the bottom of them, they do two things. They wear down and they rust. And it creates a problem, of course, they also spin out sometimes. Well, I came up with a little bit of a technique that I'm going to share with you today. It's going to help you take better care of your Korkers and keep yourself safer. Now, you can see, it doesn't matter how much WD-40 or how much fresh water you spray on these things, eventually they're going to get a little bit of rust on them. The real problem is when the rust gets down into the stem of the spike, because then you can't unseat it to replace it. Now, as you can see, these are rusty on the outside. If you can come in tight here, Robbie, here's one of the replacements, steel carbides. This is what you like them to look like, but this is what they actually look like. So what I did the last time I put new spikes on the Korkers is I made sure I took a little tube of Loctite blue. I got this from a friend of mine. He was an auto mechanic. He puts Loctite on everything because on his own cars and stuff. And what the Loctite will do is it'll not only help the spike from not spinning out when you're on the rocks because it's more secure, but it also does a great job of sealing the spike. So even though these cleats are pretty damn rusty on the outside and fairly worn down, on the inside tube, can you get in on this again, Rob? Can you see that? The stems themselves are absolutely clean. And the reason for that is because when you put the Loctite on the stems, it prevents the water, the salt water, from getting in there. So instead of having a rusted female part of this thing that you can't even get a new spike into, the Loctite allows you to not only pop it out, but save it. And it takes about 2 seconds to do, in all honesty. You take a little drop of Loctite, you drop it right on the threads. Here we go. Spin it in, finger tight. Ratchet it down. Now, you're going to get a feel for how tight you should make these. You don't want to over tighten them too much. You're going to get a little help from the Loctite. You want to tighten them just about easy wrist tightness. You can unseat the female part of the stud, so you got to be careful. The Loctite will keep them in there. But if you do this every time that you replace one of your steel carbides and your Korkers, they'll be able to pop out easier when you need to replace them, and the stems will always be great. It's a little tip we picked up along the way, and we're happy to share from you from TackleDirect. By the way, if you have any questions about Korkers or any kind of surf fishing gear, you can talk to one of our product specialists anytime. The number's on the screen. You can shop for surf gear 24/7 at TackleDirect.com. Or if you happen to be in the Northeast, be sure to stop by our showroom. We're right off exit 36 of the Garden State Parkway. Really, 25,000 square feet of great fishing stuff. And Korkers and replacement cleats and maybe even a Loctite blue. Stay with us. I'll see you out on the beach.